Welcome back, Smashers. It's Jansen here, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys exactly the best, the quickest, and the cheapest way to pay your supplier if you are using Alibaba. Now, before we get into it, if you are new here, welcome to the channel. If you do enjoy this video or anything else that I've previously posted, please do consider subscribing, giving me a like, and posting a comment in the comment section below. So let's get into the video. What is the best, the quickest, and the cheapest way to pay your supplier? Well, it might come as a surprise to you, but the answer is by bank transfer. Now, a lot of people get scared by the word bank transfer because they think you're transferring money to someone else's account, you've got no way of getting your money back if something goes wrong. Well, luckily, Alibaba has come up with quite a clever way to get around this, which means that you can pay your supplier by bank transfer and still be protected if something goes wrong. And I'm going to teach you firstly how to go about doing that, and then I'm going to tell you what providers I use when I want to do a bank transfer for a cheap price. So, as soon as your supplier sends you your invoice on Alibaba, you'll get an email. And what you need to do is log on to Alibaba and go into your My Orders section. And that looks something like this. So we'll just scroll down to an order that I've made. And this was for a sample, which is why it's quite a low amount. And what you need to do is where it says here, pay the balance. For you, it might just say pay the whole amount. It depends on what terms you've agreed with your supplier. Typically, if you're doing a big order, you'll be asked to pay 30% upfront and then the remainder as soon as the goods are ready to ship. So whatever it says here, it will say pay the balance or pay the whole amount. You need to click that. Let that load, and then as soon as it loads, you'll be shown this page here. Now, what you can do if it's your first order, if it's a small amount, is you can pay by credit or debit card. Now, I did tell a little lie at the beginning of the video. The credit and debit card is the fastest. Your supplier will get the payment in like 1 or 2 hours. However, it is the most expensive. So if we go on here, you can see I was only getting charged 6 cents, so it's fine for a sample order. But if you're doing a huge order, look at the fees here, it's 2.95%. That is quite a large amount. You know, if you're doing an order that's £1,000 or £2,000, that's quite a big fee that you're paying for something that you could actually get for free. And especially if you're making these payments month on month, that these fees really do start to add up. So it's okay to pay by credit card on your first order, or if it's a smaller order. But what I would recommend that you do if you are going to be making regular payments, or if your order size is quite big, is I would choose to do this one here, the wire transfer. Now, the wire transfer just means bank transfer. Now, you can see here, this is actually quite a new thing that Alibaba has introduced. They now allow you to do GBP domestic transfer. The benefit of that is obviously it's quite quick to do, and your UK bank will probably be able to do it. However, the downside is that I think that the foreign exchange rate that Alibaba gives you won't be that good. So that's where they're kind of making some money there. So you can do that way, but if you want to save even more money, what I would recommend is clicking this one here, the City International Wire Transfer. Now, what this does as soon as you click onto it is it gives you the supplier's bank details that are linked to Alibaba. So as soon as you make a payment to that account, Alibaba can track it, it can see it, and it'll know exactly how much you've paid and when as soon as you make the payment. Now, on here, sometimes it will say fees. So I think here it says logistics, $30, or sometimes it will say bank fees. Just ignore that. That is just Alibaba's estimate. Here it says actually USD $40 estimate. Some UK banks will charge you to make an international bank transfer, but later on in the video, I'm going to show you a couple of providers that will be able to do it for you for free. So click on International Wire Transfer, and then press view account information. And then what that will do is it will load up your supplier's bank details. So you can literally just give them to your bank, whichever provider you use, plug them in, make the payment, and then if like a few hours later, if you use a certain provider that I'm going to recommend, or maybe a couple of days later if you use like another traditional bank, you'll get an email from Alibaba saying payment received, everything's going really well, supplier's got it, let's get on with the order. So I would 100% recommend doing this way. You're still protected by trade assurance if anything does go wrong. One thing I will say, guys, is make sure that if you are doing bank transfer, you use the details on Alibaba. If your supplier gives you their own bank details and it's outside of Alibaba, you're not going to be protected. You're not going to have that trade assurance, which means that if something does go wrong, you can get your money back. So make sure that everything, as always, is on Alibaba. All your messages, if you do communicate on Skype or WhatsApp, make sure you reconfirm them on Alibaba. And as soon as you make a payment, make sure the details are like this on Alibaba. Okay, so in terms of providers, who do I use? Who do I recommend? Well, the company or the bank that I use to make my international bank transfers is a company called Revolut, and they are absolutely brilliant. They charge very, very little commission on their foreign exchange rate. It's so small that if you are to go onto Google and search for what the foreign exchange rate is between pounds and dollars, the rate is pretty much identical. Their bank transfer service is ridiculously quick. Now, what I do is I pay for Revolut Premium, and that cost me, I think it was about £55 per year. And what that does is it gives you what's called turbo transfers. So it's absolutely incredible how quick it is. I can go onto Alibaba, make that bank transfer through the Revolut app, and within 5 or 6 hours, the supplier has received the payment. So it's nearly as quick as making a UK payment. I think on the very first time that you do it, it will take maybe a day or two just while they maybe reconcile the accounts, try and find the account. But as soon as you've done it, every time you want to make a repeat purchase, and it's the same bank details every time you do that, it just transfers within a few hours. It's absolutely brilliant. Now, it does cost £55, so there is a small upfront fee, but you know, I'm making payments to my suppliers at least once every 6 weeks, maybe even shorter than that. I've got a couple of products now. I'm looking at launching a third, so that's probably going to increase in frequency. So once every 6 weeks, if you think about it, if you pay through Revolut Premium, through Alibaba, you're not incurring any transfer fee. You're not incurring any additional costs. So that £55 spread over the course of per transaction over a year, it comes to like a couple of pounds fee per transaction, maybe a bit more. But anyway, when I first started selling on Amazon, I was just using the credit card each and every time. And that's when I kind of looked at the fees I was paying and I was like, hang on, this doesn't actually make any sense. The fees that I were paying through Alibaba when using credit card was adding up to like 40 or 50 pounds a go. So guys, I would 100% recommend getting Revolut Premium. I'll put a link in the description below. Of course, you can also use the standard account to make a bank transfer, but you won't get those turbo transfers. It won't be received in the same day. I think it takes like 5 to 7 working days, so a bit longer. Me personally, I'd rather get the money to the supplier quicker so they can start working on the order as quickly as possible, but it's completely up to you. And one thing that I've not pointed out is I actually use a Revolut Premium personal account. Now, officially, I'm not meant to do that, but because of the frequency of transactions, like once every 6 weeks, and I don't actually use the Revolut account for anything else, I think it's okay. As I start to use the Revolut services more frequently, I will be upgrading to a business account. But at the moment, their business accounts are actually free. You can use their business accounts completely free. That's a new thing, but the turbo transfers aren't there. So the international bank transfers will take a bit longer, and I think there might be a small fee associated with that. So I'm just going to show you now on my phone how easy it is to make a payment, how to make a payment with Revolut. So let me just grab my phone. Okay, so what I've done here, this is my US dollar account on my Revolut app, and you can see the balance at the moment is 0. I don't hold any dollars in the account. What I do is I transfer my sterling amount into the app as soon as I want to make a payment to my supplier, and then you just press here the exchange button, you type in whatever the order amount is that you're paying your supplier, so let's just say $100, and let's just transfer it the other way around. So $100 is £82.78, and see there the exchange rate is 1.208. If you go onto Google now, it will be like 1.20 or 1.21, so it is very, very good. And then as soon as you've done that, you'll exchange it, and it will tell you you've got your US dollars in your account. It's very immediate. And then as soon as you've done that, you just press here at the bottom, payments, then you press bank transfer, and then look here, you can see all of my suppliers. I'll blur out all the details, but these are all my suppliers and people that I've made bank transfers to before. If it's your first time, you just press add new beneficiary. You press choose transfer type to a business, press continue, and then you literally just fill out the details that Alibaba gives you. So for my one here, I think the bank was based in Singapore. Currency, you want to make sure that's US dollar. Continue. You then put company name, account number, BIC, SWIFT, everything like that, which is given to you by Alibaba on that payment information screen that I just showed you earlier. Now, one really important thing, guys, is, and I'll just flick back to the screen that I was on, one really important thing is you need to make sure when you're doing that you include the reference that Alibaba gives you so that they know who the payments come from. If you don't do that, they'll have trouble reconciling the accounts, and it will probably add massive delays. So the reference is here. You can see where it says remark, this number here. As soon as you press next on the Revolut app, as soon as you do that, it will say what reference do you want to add. You need to type in that number. So as soon as you've done that, you'll get an email like this from Revolut, and it will say transfer has been submitted. So you can see I made a payment here on the 6th of August at 11:11, and you see it says expected by 1 to 5 working days. So that is if it's the first time you are making a payment. However, you'll then later get this email here, and you can see here it says transfer to the supplier has been executed 6th of August 11:53. So that is literally 45 minutes later, expected by Tuesday the 6th of August. So my supplier got that payment. As soon as it says it's been executed, that means the supplier has got the payment. And literally, I think an hour later, Alibaba emailed me to say the supplier's got your money. So guys, that is a really, really quick, cheap, an effective way to paying your suppliers. And to be honest, it's only a couple of hours slower than the credit or debit card method, but it is way cheaper. So I would definitely recommend. Now, another option that you can use is a company called Transferwise. Now, I would really recommend getting Transferwise as well, and I would recommend getting a borderless business account. Now, those are free, and you get 2 benefits from getting one of those accounts. The first is that you can use it with your Amazon European account, which is exactly what I do. So if you're selling in France, Germany, Spain, Italy, wherever, you can put those bank details into your Seller Central, and Amazon can then deposit your euros into that account, and there'll be no fees or anything like that. Now, the only downside about Transferwise, and the reason that I don't use them to pay my suppliers yet, I may well do in the future, is that they do charge a small fee, whereas Revolut's is absolutely minimal. So you can see here, to convert currencies to a US dollar, I think it will be 0.35%. If it's a bit of a rarer currency, it will be, a bit higher. But in the grand scheme of things versus Alibaba credit and debit card, it's minimal. So this, again, guys, is something to seriously consider. I've not actually used Transferwise yet to make a payment to my supplier, but I would guess it'll be similar to Revolut. It'll probably be 3 to 5 days, which isn't the end of the world. If you do your planning and you make the payment, waiting 3 to 5 days for the money to be received isn't such a bad thing if it is saving you a ton of money when it comes to transaction fees. So I'll put links to both of those companies in the description of this video. So that's Revolut and Transferwise. So that's it for this week, guys. If you have enjoyed it, please do remember to subscribe, give me a like, sub, and put a comment in the comment section below. And I'll see you next time.